Hello, 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 hello. What is going on, everybody? We are back another week. NBA Flunkies podcast. So good to be here with everybody. Uh, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's been a very interesting first 5 weeks for our season. Everything from the surprising turn of the Los Angeles Lakers to I mean, it's definitely been very hectic of a season to start so far. Uh, but so good to be here. Like I said, we've got a lot to discuss. We've got quite a few folks here, quite a few guests, of which I think I've seen one person come in and out, which is all good. I'm sure we'll all be back eventually. But to start off with some of the other guests that I've got here, um, we've got Cesway Chapman here of the Valley Boys, of course. We've got Sterling here of the Alpha Land Knicks. I'm sorry, Keyshawn here of the Alpha Land Knicks. Not to be mistaken. Not to be mistaken at all. It's my bad. And
Boy
we
got me out here looking bad, man.
yeah, can't have
I
that.
mean, that's my son anyway. So you feel me?
And that's where he's got it all messed up. You see, my children can't be running their mouth like that. I whip their ass when they sit there and talk to me like that.
We've got Sterling here of the She Fanatics, and we've also got Sam Brown here of what's his new name? Up the
Pack season.
hack season. Up the
Yeah, he finna smoke his own pack soon, though. Don't worry, bro.
yeah, whatever. We've got a lot to discuss today, and I'm so excited to be here with you all to hopefully get into a lot of this. So let's just dive into it. I feel pretty good today. So let's dive straight into it. So the first topic of the day. The Los Angeles Lakers look like garbage. It's bad. Like usually, you know, whenever there are new pieces added onto a team and the team is going through a lot of overhaul, there's usually the case where, there's growing pains and the teams just need some time to adjust. I just think these guys are kind of beyond that at this point. Just to the idea that these guys just don't look very good at all. Like it's bad. Like oh my gosh, like I even when LeBron came back, what was that?
Yesterday,
Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, yeah, it was on Friday, right?
Yeah,
bro. It just didn't look like it made that much of a difference, of which usually that is the case. Like, I mean, they played a not injury prone, but definitely a hampered Celtics team that looked like it was struggling. And the Celtics just came in and handled business. I mean, the Bulls came in and handled business. So did the
Celtics are trash too.
And the Celtics haven't been very good, even though I think they've won like their past 3 or 4 games.
But it don't equate to too much.
I mean, in a sense, yeah, you're kind of right, but like, I mean, if you really look at it, like the Celtics, they handled the Magic, they handled the Heat. They lost to the Mavericks off of a Luka 3, which it wasn't lucky. It's just Luka. It's not lucky. It's Luka. Somebody's got to put that on the shirt. It's not lucky. It's just Luka. The Celtics handled the Heat.
Those shirts are not corny ass shirt.
The Celtics handled the Raptors. The Celtics handled the Bucks. They lost to the Cavs and then beat the Cavs. So I mean, I don't know. It is kind of tricky, but I mean, the Lakers shouldn't have lost how they lost. They let Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum had 37. Yo, he had 37 and 11.
How much did AD have in that game?
Irrelevant. He's trash.
He had 31. He had 31 and 6.
Okay.
But it just looks like now the Lakers are 8-9. The Lakers are 8-9 right now, which puts them at number 9. And think about it like this. The Grizzlies, who are above them, are 500 at 8-8. And the Timberwolves are 7-9, right below them. The Thunder are 2 games away from being above them or at their same level. And so are the Kings. Now, granted, they're one game below the Trailblazers and the Clippers and the Nuggets and the Mavericks. So this just looks bad. It just looks really bad for the kind of team that they put together, the roster that they put together, which, like, I still think is really good. But what are y'all thoughts on that?
So on a scale of, I think on like a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not worried at all, 10 being like extremely concerned, like this could be a total disaster. What's your level of concern for the Lakers right now? Like, how do you think it's time to panic?
I mean, go ahead, Sterling. Go ahead.
I'm thinking right now, I say you had a solid 6.5, 7 with the concern with the Lakers. Yeah, they still have some players missing, like Kendrick Nunn. And, he's supposed to be kind of like a safety valve off the bench. But I'm like, the Lakers they just look defeated. They look deflated. Like they have no energy. There's no attention to detail or any of this says. They look completely lost out there. And it's like, even with LeBron James coming back, they just look lost. They just don't look inspired to take the regular season seriously. And when you're just thinking you're in championship mode, it's like, you're not going to win anything like that.
I agree with Sterling. And here's what I want to say about the Lakers. Is, first of all, niggas talk too much about the Lakers anyway. They haven't been good. They won a bubble year. That was cool. And then as soon as they won the bubble year, they blew up their whole roster that helped them win. Like, you literally didn't bring back McGee and Howard. And that kind of comes back with the Suns. Like, McGee's having a great year at the Suns right now.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say about the Lakers is all this pressure on LeBron James and him trying to build certain stuff around him. He's a terrible GM. And I want to put most of the blame on Anthony Davis, though. Anthony Davis is the worst top 10 player the NBA has ever seen, bro. He is overrated. He's overrated. He doesn't help you win, bro. Like, if LeBron goes out, okay, imagine this. 4 years, LeBron retires, AD's the face of the league. What is that going to get you? Nothing, because AD is not good. He's supposed to be carrying this Lakers team at this point, and he still hasn't taken that number 1 option step. This is no one's fault but AD, because he needs to be the one to be putting up wins on this board instead of empty stats. This is on AD, bro. He needs to take some leadership and accountability for his play, bro.
Oh my goodness. Seasway, my heart is warm. You took the words right out of my mouth. I talked to Commish about this yesterday, and I told him, I said, this is one of the topics we need to have, because we discussed AD as, let's be honest, if you were to build a prototype big man, all tangibles, scoring prowess, air quote defensiveness, defensive game and stuff like that, you would probably show a picture of AD to somebody as your top tier big man.
Yeah.
AD is regarded, air quote, as a possible top 5 player. He's a top 5 talent, but a top 10 player.
Bro, a few years ago, they were saying he was going to be better than Tim Duncan.
Exactly. Look, I haven't seen that. Nice. And what bothers me is this. And I agree with what Seasway said 100%. We're talking about a guy who, I'm sorry, the defense that they talked about about AD in like New Orleans before, talking about he has elite defense. Where has that been? because my guy in Milwaukee put 47 on his head. No, like, bro, like, you don't take that personal. LeBron James is gone. And let's run this real quick because Russell Westbrook's been playing a little bit better as far as statistics. He's still turning the ball over. He's cutting them down a little bit. But let's look at the packages that have made this Lakers team right now. I'm mainly focused on two things, Russ and AD. It took Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball. And I don't know if there was like
Alex
picks involved in that.
No, they traded a bunch of picks too to New Orleans.
Okay, and some picks. That brought AD to the Lakers. And what have we witnessed? Brandon Ingram, an all-star. Lonzo Ball went from shooting 28% in his rookie season to now shooting Sterling probably 42, if not more.
He's about 44%. He's pretty close to 44%.
44%. And look, I'm letting you know this. Shout out Lonzo Ball because
Ball.
He looks smooth out there. Like I might be one of those guys, like, I like LaMelo and stuff, but I prefer Zoe personally because it's just something about like how easy the game looks to him now.
He's a true point guard. He's a point guard's point guard.
And what's going on in Chicago is Zoe doesn't have to be more than what he really does. He just has to go shoot the ball. He can go to the rim if he feel like it, and he just goes out there and facilitate. And the one thing that he likes to do is go play defense.
And the good thing about that Chicago team is that they play that Chino. That's why LaMelo and Lonzo are succeeding, because both the Hornets and Bulls are playing that Chino Hill style they grew up on. Fast pace, high flyers. You got Zach LaVine and DeMar, and then Charlotte, you got Oubre and Miles Bridges running at the rim.
So beautiful,
they're playing Chino Hill style basketball. That's why they're being successful. But back to the Lakers for a second. Like, the Lakers did give up all those players, and then they gave up Kuz and KCP, who are killing in Washington. Washington has the best record in the East.
Right now, the Wizards look genius for that trade. Capital City Kuz is out there. First off, man, Kuz in Los Angeles before LeBron was averaging, I think, around 18 points in the first two seasons he was there.
Yeah, he was balling. Kuz was balling.
He was going dumb. And then when AD comes along, after they get rid of Zoe, Kuz's numbers dropped from 18 to about 13 a game. And, we gave Kuz a lot of grief because, he wasn't looking effective, or he was looking like he was just a front runner in those first 2 years, not really doing anything after. And it's like, you start to notice, and you look at Kuz right now, what he's doing in DC, playing alongside Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal. He's like, Kuz is just one of those guys. He's like, you just got to let me fit in where it's at. You can't force me into a role. I just have to fit in where I can. And
that's what happens when you got to play with LeBron. You got to fit into a role.
Well, at that point in time, it didn't work. And for Montrezl Harrell, former Sixth Man of the Year, you've got a guy.
I forgot about Trez.
You got a guy who played on the Clippers, was ideally him and Lou Will off the bench were a dynamic duo, probably one of the most feared bench units.
Until they ran into that boy Jamal Murray.
Absolutely. And then realistically, after Trez made the move from the Clippers to the Lakers, Trez actually had a DNP during the series. I think that was against the Suns, right?
Yeah.
How does a Sixth Man of the Year go DNP?
Frank Vogel. And
exactly.
that's the Lakers. They just threw some people together, bruh. And I just don't understand where this will actually make sense, because they are starting DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard and AD at the same time. And then LeBron back. And you got Carmelo, who's pretty much been and first of all, I don't know why Melo's not starting. It should be Melo, Bron, AD, Russ, and a shooter out there.
Well, realistically, I'm content with what Carmelo is doing.
That great a defender as people say.
Thank you. Like, my thing with Melo, he could start. I think he have a viable case for starting. I don't think they start Melo because ideally that bench unit, when you see those guys come in, who's really a true scorer? Like, Melo is someone who is like, hey, bro, we can say you're the number one option, give him the ball and just let the show revolve around you. That's what Melo is. So I feel that's the biggest issue with the bench unit, because realistically, my biggest concern, this goes to the other guys, Russell Westbrook right now. If we take a look at Russ's team history, OKC, Houston, and Washington. He's now with the Lakers. The one thing that Russell Westbrook has always had that he does not have now is young legs. Legs. This is the oldest team constructed right now in the league. Russell Westbrook, I believe Russ's turnover issues and stuff like that, aside from the ones where he just be literally losing the ball, I believe Russ is so used to playing with younger legs and moving at such a fast pace. You see, LeBron can work with these guys because of the fact, like, LeBron's a metronome. LeBron can literally change the pace whenever he wants to, but Russ only plays at one pace. So when you got Russell Westbrook, a guy who's used to running the floor, explosive offense, throwing lobs, trying to dunk on people and stuff like that, LeBron knows how to turn that volume up, but also slow the pitch down too. It's like, he can't. Russ doesn't know how to do that. You're not doing that with aged DeAndre Jordan, aged Dwight Howard, aged Melo. Like, none of these guys are how they were before. You're not with them. So Russ is probably struggling because of the fact he's so used to that pace, which I believe is something that it's going to be tough because you're asking Russ to ideally age himself to be able to play with these guys. And AD, that man, he's been embarrassing himself. There's no way that I can't call AD an elite defender anymore when Giannis is putting up 47 on you. And it's bizarre because AD will still score high numbers in points and he'll have rebounds and stuff. But it's like, how do you get AD? You said he had 34 the other night, and this was LeBron on the court. I can't sit there and say, oh, Bron not there. He was there. How do you guys have AD scoring 34 and having 6 rebounds? That's an issue there. But how do you have AD with 34 and you lose by 20?
Yeah. Because LeBron went down, AD should step up. I don't feel he's been saying stepping up. Russ is turning the ball over. And I agree with that point, Keyshawn. Russ has always been playing with fast-paced teams. If he was in I don't know where, fast, like the Kings or something like that, he'd be having much more success. But I don't know where this team goes for real. It doesn't seem like they like each other. It don't seem like they click. I don't know where Rondo fits in Taylor Horton Tucker. Like, it's just so weird. Like, a weird LA team.
You want to know what this looks like? This looks like, y'all remember that
Cavs
28, 17, 18 Cavs team?
Yeah, when they just had
but hold on.
Exactly what this looks like.
Let me defend that team real quick. That team is better than we realized it was. I think that team needed time. I don't think this team needs time. I think that Cavs team needed time because you have to understand, when that team started off, IT was injured, J.R. Smith was hurt, Kevin Love was out. Like, they were playing like with a bunch of people that they didn't have a chance to like get healthy. They ended up trading them in the middle of the season. But that team,
and then when they did get together,
no, they never got together because they traded all them away.
Yeah, sis, I get what you're saying, bro. I feel like if that team had stayed together, then like the team that
there might have been some
they might have been able to win the chip with that team.
Bro, if that team went to the chip against Golden State, because imagine you won't have Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance, but they didn't even play because they couldn't even defend. But if you had D Wade, Rose, IT, Jay Crowder in that finals against that Warriors team, it would have been a much closer series. LeBron gave up on that team mid-season, bro. That team was good.
So personally, I disagree because I remember that team and they had like one of the worst Januaries. I think it was either January or February. They had like one of the worst months as a team. I won't say in NBA history, but probably in the league that year. It was pretty bad.
I just don't think they ever got healthy, and I feel like they would have waited. That's a good, like, if you have Derrick Rose coming off your bench or starting with D Wade and J.R. Smith, Shumpert, like they had their original team, and they just added 2 Hall of Famers and Jay Crowder who can play 2 to 3. Like, that's a decent team. Not to mention Tristan Thompson's still there. I forgot the big they had on the bigger big, but they had some pieces. Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, all of them were still there, but they gave up for him for like
Zubats, or I don't know who it was. It was like some I think it's Wild. I don't know, but that team. I
It
don't think
was
that
something
team.
like that.
I think if you put that team together, especially since that was a younger LeBron James, you would have had a much better chance in this Lakers team, because I don't know what this Lakers team's going to do. AD just keeps revealing to me that he's soft as charming. If you watch Giannis came out with look, if there's anybody in this league that can match up with Giannis, I would say,
it's
AD.
Oh,
But
hold on,
now
guys.
the only
Hold
person,
on, really quick. Sorry, hold on. Our stream just got suspended. Hold on.